Hello there. Today is going to be the most useless review for a Miyazaki movie that you do not need. Do you like any of the Miyazaki movies, Studio Ghibli stuff? Just go watch it. That's the review. That's all I can say. And I'm not gonna spoil much today, so well, I might just like a little bit, but I'm probably not gonna get into too many details because I watched it just today, so that was really amazing. And also, I'm gonna have like a little drawing video on top of this. I really enjoyed like the little spirits they were in the trailer, so nothing to be spoiled about. And it's just a real quick sketch that I wanted to make because the movie was so awesome. They were so cute, and that's a lot of good movie content. I really enjoyed watching it. I I came in with no expectations because some of the Ghibli movies they hit, and some of them are, for me personally, are kind of like really boring. And well, they're not boring per se. Like I'm not enjoying it. I am enjoying them a lot, and I think it's like a masterpiece in terms of animation. But it's not something that I'm gonna go back and watch again. Like for example, Kiki Delivery Service, I would love to go back and watch that again. Spirited Away, I mean obviously everyone's favorite. And but things that um the Porco Roco, or I already forget the name of that movie, but that one was pretty good. But yeah, so there's some of them that are like really really nice, and some of them are not as fun to watch. And I definitely think this one is good. I think it's good enough for me to say, yeah, I'll watch it in theaters. That's first thing that I like to point out is some movies are good these days, but a lot of times they go to streaming platforms, and you just think like, man, do I really want to spend, 12, $15 to watch a movie? And in this case, I want to say, yeah, you should go spend that money on that movie. And I don't say that lightly most of the time, so that's one thing. Second thing, am I gonna rewatch it? Probably yes. That's also a big kind of factor for me when I decide if a movie is good. I don't even talk about like story or like anything else when I talk to my friends. Like when they ask me, "Do you like this movie?" I'm like, "Well, I like it. Would I pay for it in theaters? Maybe not, maybe yes." So that's the first question. Second question is, am I gonna rewatch it? And a lot of times when I was younger, I would not rewatch the movie ever. But now that I'm getting older, I think like, yeah, I will want to rewatch like Treasure Planet like 5 times. But anything, anyway, about the movie. So does it make any sense to me? I don't think it does. I think it's just stuff happening, and then there's some strings attached that you can figure out as you watch. And there's probably going to be a 5 hour like a video essay as to how all of it is connected to some Spirited Away or multiverse BS. You know how YouTube essays go. But I don't think it has like a super consistent plot compared to other movies. Like a lot of it is, in a good way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's more like poetry. And to just explain it is when sometimes you read poetry and you don't really get half of it, but you get it emotionally. Like you understand what the person was trying to say, and you feel their emotion from the book. And the same thing goes here. Like I can feel what the movie is trying to communicate with me, and I think I understand where it's coming from, even though I don't really understand like every single thing. And I think there's a lot of world building stuff that happens that makes no sense. But I feel like Ghibli is doing that on purpose. They don't want you to give you all of the clues, and a lot of it is just like for example, like the little spirits. They're like, once they grow up, they fly and they become humans or something like that. But then they just like briefly mention it for like 2 seconds. It doesn't affect the plot. It doesn't affect anything, and you don't really think about that stuff. But you're like, huh? So those are like souls? They're not souls? They're human souls? Is the main character like you know, is the main character is like in the underworld? Is he not? Is it just a coincidence that those little spirits are souls and they become humans? Are all humans those little souls that fly away that I'm drawing right now? So all these questions they rise and they're never answered, and I don't really, I would love to know more, but at the same time, it doesn't affect the quality of the movie. So, and lore stuff like that happens pretty much every like 4 or 5 minutes in the movie when the main character is in like the underworld, like a parallel reality. I don't even know what it is. Like, I honestly watched the movie and I'm like, so is this like heaven? Is it like a time travel thing? Is this just because in Spirited Away, it was kind of like, oh, it's a spirit world. It makes sense. They only show up in their own realms, and humans are not allowed. But here, it's like even more less explained of what it is, because there's some things that are like parallel universe. There's some things that are like the dead of souls are there, so it's all just like a little bit confusing, but in a good way. So I enjoyed the movie a lot, and I didn't. And a lot of it was, I think, there's some things in animation that a lot of this is my favorite part probably of any Ghibli movie, is that there's a lot of things that are on the budget. And when they say on the budget, is that when, let's say, you have a movie about Los Angeles, which is a dumb example, but if you have a movie about Los Angeles, you just want a B-roll, right? You want like a separate shot of whatever pointless BS that is happening on screen. So let's say cars are going, or people are smoking outside, or whatever it might be. It's pretty pointless, but you want to give the vibe of the story of the environment. And a lot of times they don't do that in animation, because every single second it counts for the budget, it counts for the runtime, it counts for something, and it's really hard for animation to push for that tranquility, for that kind of not purposeful shots, but just kind of pointless shots in a good way. And Miyazaki and just in general Ghibli movies, they're really, really good at those like mundane, not really serving the story too much shots, but they're there to give you a feel of what the world is like. And I think that they really nailed it in this movie. Like half, I want to say like a 25% of the movie is just those shots that are just person standing or walking, or they're not talking, the plot is not progressing, but they're just enjoying they're just in it, and they're in the moment. And I think that was really beautiful, and that it reminded me of kind of like going to a museum, of just enjoying yourself and staring at things that don't really bring you purpose, but they give you a feeling, and then you move on to the next thing, and then you just keep going. So that it felt like a museum, it felt like a poetry book. So you don't really understand most of it, but you feel it, and there's not a lot of things that make sense, but that doesn't really matter, because you feel the world building and you feel how it's all connected, and it doesn't feel forced. And I think that was awesome. And just in general, I think it's very similar to Spirited Away. I'm just gonna say that. Maybe a lot of people would disagree with me, but it's very, very similar. But because I haven't seen Spirited Away in so long, and it's been, I don't know when it came out, like 20 years ago. I feel like it's a fair assumption to, that's okay, and I don't really mind that. And I still enjoyed the movie. I still think that people should go see it, and it's still a different experience. And I really am happy that that movie was kind of the last thing that might come out of Ghibli Studio under Miyazaki's supervision, because he's getting old. He's not getting any younger, and this might as well be his last movie, and you can definitely feel how he's saying goodbye in a way, because he kept retiring and kept saying he's not gonna do any more movies, but then he keeps making them. And I think it's a really nice note to leave it off on, and I really, I really liked it. Also, there's some nice humor in there. The characters are very, very charismatic. All the side characters are pretty awesome, and I also watched it in theaters. There was like English dub, no subtitles, and then just a regular, and I was so confused, what does that mean? But then when I came in, I went to a regular show, like regular screening, and then it made sense. So basically, regular for me, for California, is uh, Japanese with English subtitles, but then whatever the changed version is, I assume that is the dub, which is the normal with English, like voice actors and everything. So I watched that in Japanese, and I didn't regret it. I think the text is good. The translation seems fine. I didn't feel like I was missing out on stuff, and that was definitely an experience. And I got like a huge loaded fries and drink. It costed me $16. I regret every decision in my life, but I think that was still like part of the experience. And I guess that's how they get you. They make a good movie and they say, you know what, this idiot already paid $12 for a ticket. Might as well make him pay 15. It was $7 drink. Seven freaking dollars for a soda. Seven. I get the smallest one. I didn't even want that much. I wanted like 2 sips. Um, but yeah, I think I really am happy that I watched that movie in theater, because there's a lot of wide, like big stuff that you want to see on big screen, and I feel like if you watch that on a laptop or at home, it's just not gonna be the same. And even though it's not really action packed, you can definitely feel the serene and like the landscapes. Just they're so much more alive when they're on screen, and a lot of people, they watch their movies on like an iPad that is a size of a thumb. Like, come on, man. Some people worked like 7 years on that one frame. Come on, just go see it in movies. Save up money or something like that. But um, hopefully that convinced you to go, and hopefully you enjoyed just like quick ramble that I had. But generally speaking, go watch it. If you have, if you disagree with me, please leave a comment. I would love to hear people trashing on my take because I love internet. That's just number one thing that I am enjoying. Obviously, if you have anything to ask or add to the movie, please share that as well. I would love to hear that, and I'll definitely rewatch the movie at some point in the future and definitely try to do more art based on that. The only thing that I'll complain about is the name. So, The Boy and the Heron. I just, I keep, my friend said boy, the heroine boy like once, and it's just not out of my head, and they just can't like take it out of my head. And also, most of the movie, it's not even about the boy and the heron. It's they're they're kind of there for like a little bit. I wouldn't say like 25% of the movie, maybe 45. Like, it's not even most of the movie is about them. So it doesn't really, I don't know. I feel like so weird saying, but it doesn't feel like they're the main characters. Like, the boy is, but the heron is like barely there for most of it, or it doesn't affect stuff. So I don't know how I feel about that name. I'm sure it's translated differently in Japanese. Maybe they like butchered the name of the movie like entirely, but yeah, I will complain about that a lot. How it just makes no sense to call it. Maybe it could have been like, I don't know, a different name. in search of a sister or something, like in search of a mother, because most of it is about, it's about the boy and the mom, and I feel like that's just like such a more fitting name. But yeah, I don't know. Also, the trailer was kind of showing kind of like a little more action and a little bit more kind of road trip between two characters, but that's not, I don't think that's the case. So if you expected that, that's not it. It's definitely more in terms of like Spirited Away, of just one thing happening and then they go to another place and then another thing happens, and it kind of is not connected in a way, so you can just enjoy every scene by itself, which, it's kind of like, for a lot of American movies that's like really bad, all scenes should be connected, but for that narrative specifically in that style of animation, it just works somehow. So yeah, I really am happy that I watched it. Go see it. Let me know what you think of this really, really bad format that I made like last minute just for this, because I really enjoyed the movie so much. So I just like had to make a video and just complain it a little bit and praise it like a little bit. So thank you for watching, and I will go to sleep right now, hopefully.